You go to an NLP teacher, NLP practitioner, or a psychiatric practitioner, or any conventional therapist. He will help you to change your programming from I'm afraid of spider to I'm okay with spider. The first programming was I'm afraid of spiders. They help you change the program to I'm safe around spiders. This first kind of therapy, which is widely accepted, especially in new age time. And second one is if you go to an enlightened person and you tell him that I have fear of spiders, he won't help you to change your program. So you have a programming, I'm afraid of spiders. He will help you in a way so that the very folder from where the fear is coming from, it will help you wipe that fear folder out so that the program I'm afraid of spider will be transformed into silence. Second teacher, the second kind of person is not helping you to change the programming from I am afraid of fear spider to I am safe around spider. He's simply helping you to disappear, dissolve the programming from I am afraid of spider to nothing. And after that, if you come across a spider, you won't be afraid.
Hi there, Adrian here, and this is a video from a Zoom session that we do. We do these Zoom sessions every Sunday and we take questions and answers from the audience, some of our students, some of our members. We never know what questions are coming up, so I'm always excited to do these sessions and I hope to see you at one of them. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below and check out the other playlists that we have. Thank you, enjoy.
Okay, so first thing is what is emotional health, which is the topic of today's webinar. So many of us have heard about mental health, but we don't hear much about emotional health. There's not much difference. However, I think emotional well-being sounds more solid and concrete as compared to just mental health. So a new word which was coined just I think a couple of decades back, EQ. Everybody have heard the word EQ, emotional quotient. Just like IQ, which is intelligence quotient, EQ is emotional quotient. And very famous American author Daniel Goleman has written a book on it. And much is talked about EQ nowadays in corporate trainings, in hospitals, in social psychology, in business, in family counseling. Why? Because since since many years, since science has seen its pinnacle in almost every area, in uh, in education, in medicine, in infrastructure. Uh, but one thing was missing, which is science actually didn't pay much attention to human emotions. Although we have had pioneers like uh, Carl Gustav Jung, but he's not much understood for many reasons. And like Sigmund Freud is very famous because he talks, the theories of Sigmund Freud are very clear. He talks about unconscious drive. Okay, good. But Carl Gustav Jung added something to it. Carl Gustav Jung said, if you continue to run your life in an unconscious way, you will remain slave of your emotions and you will call it luck, or destiny. And you will always feel disempowered over your own life. So Carl Gustav Jung, he was actually inspired by Buddhist meditation. So I think he was the first scientist to formally introduce the word awareness, awareness of emotions, which we call mindfulness now. So I think mindful is a very new word, and it it was used by Carl Gustav Jung in the name of awareness, awareness of your own emotions. So what was actually science? Science was missing in all its research. We were actually moving forward in achieving more in life, but where is happiness? Where is joy? Where is peace of mind for which we are struggling? We are rushing. No scientist ever looked deep into it. And look at Western world. Majority of countries are rich. They have one of the best infrastructure. They have good quality of life, education, business, jobs. This is the outer reality. And when we see depression, we see desperation, we see anxiety, we see low self-esteem, and many others negative emotions. And never in our upbringing or schooling or college, never we were told how to manage these emotions. Then we were like, if you see someone crying, you're likely to hear from others, "Oh, you're a man. Why are you crying? You're supposed to be strong." So one's emotional health is paid very little or no attention at individual level, at collective level, at social level. Nowadays, many techniques, many modalities are coming up which help you to look at your emotions and heal them. So, what is emotional wellness and what is emotional unwellness? Someone having anxiety, low self esteem, depression, or any prominent negative emotion, which actually affects their day to day life in a relationship, in job or business, in society, and with oneself. It is emotional unwellness or emotional issue, emotional wellness, when we can function well, when we know how to manage a certain emotion in a given situation, when we are not overwhelmed by any negativity. This is emotional wellness. Now we'll talk about the difference between mental and emotional health. So actually, mental and emotional health, they are not two different things. Emotion, every emotion is a physiological reaction of a certain thought. The full form, or let's say the origin of word emotion is energy in motion. When the energy is in motion in your body, it's called emotion. For instance, you think about any emotion, good or bad emotion. and you see what you feel in your system. Let's say in the moments of anxiety or anger, you feel increased heart rate, you feel more energy in your hands and jaws, and in depression you feel low. You will see your facial muscles feeling dropped or down, and in the moments of happiness you feel your chest is open. So these are all different physiological reactions of certain thoughts and triggers. So emotion is physiological reaction of a thought, and thought is mental origin of an emotion. Thought is subtle, invisible. Emotion is apparent and physiological. So this is the difference between mental and emotion. So I would say they are basically two words for the same experience, just different expression. Emotion is physiological expression, and mental is just the reaction of your thoughts within your head. Next thing is the root cause of anxiety, low self-esteem, and depression. Generally, problems that we experience in everybody life, there are problems. There are problems with their own emotions. The root cause of them doesn't is not confined to just their childhood, as we understand. Like someone has a fear of spider, so they go to is likely to uh, find the root in his or her childhood. Well, yes, but the truth is bigger than that. Do play a role in defining how we will experience in future. Apart from that, genetic information that we get from parents. And third thing, collective unconscious. First, childhood conditioning, yes, apparently. Second, genetic condition, the information. And third is collective unconsciousness. Collective unconsciousness plays a bigger role in making our personality and behavior, and in comparison to childhood conditioning or genetic information. What is collective unconsciousness? Collective unconsciousness is uh, whatever humanity has experienced up until now. We hold that traits, all those traits we have inside our unconscious mind. That means millions of years ago, if a group of people went through fear, went through a terrible experience, they felt scared, that fear is still somehow locked in me, in you, and in everybody else because of information that is passed on from generation to generation. And the second definition of collective unconsciousness, which is more uh, metaphysical, it is whatever Adrian is thinking or doing in his home right now. It is unconsciously affecting everybody else, and we don't even know that. The first explanation was more scientific, conventional, information passed on from gene to gene. The second definition, which is more of metaphysical, is that we share information, whatever is going in the world, whatever the nature of energy is right now. such as Ukraine-Russia war, a new energy has created. It is more of fear now. It is affecting everybody, whether we know it consciously or not. In that way, so much is there in our unconscious mind. And when I say unconscious mind, it means the part of mind which we don't know about consciously. There are two words for it, subconscious and unconscious. To me, they are same. Some of your experiences which you can consciously understand, you can call it subconscious. And many of them, you don't even get an idea where they are coming from. That is unconsciousness. For example, you're sleeping in your room in America right now, and you get a dream out of blue that you're traveling in, you're traveling with astronauts, and you never had any interest in looking at space science. But the dream is coming out of blue. So this is something was in your unconscious. You never knew about it, but it has. And scientists say that out of uh, the behavior that we have, 95% is driven by unconscious mind, and only 5% to unconscious is second nature. You're driving a car, you're talking on the phone, and you're driving a car. So your entire focus is on phone, but someone inside you is driving the car. So the trained part in your unconscious is driving the car. But in my own experience, I would say more than 95% we are unconscious. What is more interesting is that if I put 7 different flavor ice creams in front of you and I ask you to choose one of them, it's 7 different flavors. And if I ask you to choose one, suppose you choose chocolate, I would ask you, why did you choose chocolate flavor? Then you will think like, because I like it. I love it in my childhood, blah, blah, blah. Your answer to why you chose chocolate flavor is not right. Your explanation is simply justification. It is not true. The choice actually came from your unconscious without your knowing. From this example, you can relate how many of your decisions that you take and which you take credit, they are not yours. They're coming from someone bigger inside you, which is your unconscious mind.
I like that definition, Preet. And when we are talking, I don't think anyone actually thinks what they're going to say. We don't
Yes,
stop and we don't think about each word, they just come out. So every time we are actually talking and communicating, even if we're trying to coach someone or to say we love someone, it's unconscious. It's pretty hard to
yeah,
consciously choose and say specific words.
yes. And when I use the word unconscious or subconscious, it is not natural. We cannot say that we are built to behave or function from unconscious. It was a function which we acquired later on during the process of evolution. As the theory of Darwin goes, life started with one cell, maybe amoeba, then a group of cells, then two more group of cells, and a being came in life. It could be the first animal, or some say the fish. Fish was the first, maybe the complete being. So that in that time, when 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 a being comes into life, they have to survive. They don't want to die. They have to survive. And to survive, they have to learn certain tricks to have food, reproduction, and safety. And human beings in their beginning have seen a very terrible time, a very fear-based time in the Stone Age and before that. So it was all about kill or you will be killed, attack or you will be attacked. So when we went through that experiences for maybe few thousand years or maybe few million years, we kept suppressing fear time and again. That suppression of fear for over the years of long over long period of time, because the pain was too much. It was impossible to tolerate the fear all the time. So brain did something for you. It pushed the fear into the basement so that you don't feel it all the time. And we call it unconscious mind. Your traumatic memories of the childhood, they're still there in your subconscious. You don't feel it because your subconscious is protecting you. It is not letting you feel your pain all the time. So this was the advantage of unconscious mind. But now we don't need it. Now we're not living in a system where we have to face fear all the time. Now we are free. We know how to talk. We know how to communicate. We have social security. We have police system. We have people, loved ones to protect us. So we don't need that part of the mind. But it is so deeply ingrained in the gene that we can't help live without it. We have to work hard to get out of it.
Some of this might make complete sense to a lot of you. For me, it's really nice to hear this coming from a GP, from a full doctor, to say the mind and body are totally connected. Yeah, Jay.
Just want to clarify something, if I may.
Yeah, please.
My internet connection's not too good tonight, but and the hearing. So you said that the subconscious and the unconscious are two separate entities. Is that correct?
They are two separate entities functioning inside us, separate from conscious decision. They are body in themselves. They function for protection and survival. They don't function for thrival. Hence, they are shrug. They are fear-based. They don't want to connect with others with the sense of oneness. They judge oneself and they judge others. Hence, you see everybody, every society, every system.
Preet didn't highlight or focus on a separation. He did focus on, some people might call it a subconscious, some people unconscious. Either way, the important distinction is that distinction between the conscious, the small conscious that can process, 7 plus or minus 2 chunks of information, and the unconscious being the supercomputer that controls most of our autonomic nervous system, all our insides, the way we drive, the way we react to emotions, the way we speak, the way we think, the way we feel little things. Conscious is just a little bit on top.
Yeah, it was just something that made my mind turn and relate to some experiences. And I can sort of agree with this because there's like, at least to me, in my thinking, 2 levels of subconscious. The one where we can interact with consciously as we learn, and then the deeper one, which is, like you say, taking care of breathing, the heart pumping, and all those side of it. I can accept that. And perhaps even in my thinking, I'm thinking there's probably that base level and maybe 2 more levels of subconscious. So I've never heard anybody sort of say this, and it's just switched on some previous thing. So very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. I would like to clarify one thing before we go ahead. You said we have a part in unconscious which controls physiology, right? Well, this is commonly believed nowadays in science that your breathing, your circulation, your heartbeat, they're controlled by unconscious. They are controlled, but it is not natural. It's the grip of fear over your system that drives it. Even when you don't have unconscious mind, you're going to survive, and in a far better way than you can survive now. Because you won't need the fear of past to drive your system. When your subconscious is gone, then you have the universal intelligence driving you.
Are you going to start to say that the magic is working with the unconscious, and the way we should live really healthy lives is paying more attention to the unconscious programming and the unconscious emotions we have in life?
Actually, let's talk about it in more detail. I said the next is role of different modalities in healing. Down the ages, we have witnessed many different teachers, different modalities. In the ancient time, it was yoga, martial art, meditation, and now few more scientific techniques like NLP, Psyche, Reiki, and just to name a few. When it comes to healing, when it comes to changing your life, it's either you reprogram yourself or you wipe out the program. Let's look at the same example of fear of spiders. If someone has fear of spiders, you go to an NLP teacher, NLP practitioner, or Psyche practitioner, or any conventional therapist. He will help you to change your programming from I'm afraid of spider to I'm okay with spider. The first programming was I'm afraid of spiders. They help you change the program to I'm safe around spiders. This first kind of therapy, which is widely accepted, especially in new age time. And second one is if you go to an enlightened person and you tell him that I have fear of spiders, he won't help you to change your program. So you have a programming, I'm afraid of spiders. He will help you in a way so that the very folder from where the fear is coming from, it will help you wipe that folder out. So that the program, I'm afraid of spider, will be transformed into silence. into silence. Second teacher, the second kind of person, is not helping you to change the programming from I am afraid of fear of spider to I am safe around spider. He's simply helping you to disappear, dissolve the programming from I am afraid of spider to nothing. And after that, if you come across a spider, you won't be afraid. And nowadays, so many people are inclined to learn different techniques to help themselves and others. And unfortunately, most techniques have failed to fulfill their promises. Most modalities have actually failed to help humanity for several reasons. One, the lapse in technique itself. One, the lapse in technique itself. Second, unwillingness of a human being to take quantum leap. We think we are ready and willing to change. We are not. Just 2 days ago, I was talking to Adrian about something general and something personal, and we came up with the topic of intimate relationship. And I told Adrian that we think that we want to get out of this pattern, but we don't. We are actually not ready for it. For instance, someone has a problem with their partner or with their colleague. They tend to get angry with the other, or they tend to judge other than themselves. And one day they get realization that it is self-sabotaging habit and they want to come out of it. Good. But what they're saying, is it really true? Or simply they are venting? They are venting. They are not ready. Why? Eckhart Tolle. I think most of the participants have heard about Eckhart Tolle or maybe have read his book, The Power of Now. So in unconscious mind, we have gathered so many traumatic experiences that they have become foundation of how we think, how we feel, and how we behave. And the pain body, which is collective traumatic experience inside your unconscious, that pain body needs pain to stay, to survive. Have you ever asked yourself why we love action movies? Why we want to know more about violence, trauma? On one hand, we pray for Ukrainian people, which is good. But on the other hand, the pain body inside us is curious to hear more about what is happening in Ukraine. We love movies in which we see violence, we see revenge, we see genocide, and we see it for the purpose of entertainment. Yes, consciously we see it for the purpose of entertainment, but unconsciously we see it to feed our pain body. From pain body, uh, comes a need to stay in anger, in anxiety, in judgment, in fear, in fight, in arguing, and all kinds of self-sabotaging behavior. And almost all of us are either sadist or masochist to a certain degree. Let me explain what is masochism and what is sadism to those of us, to those of you who don't know. Masochism is human tendency to enjoy the suffering, enjoy torturing oneself, enjoy suffering of oneself. This is masochism. Sadism is a tendency of being, enjoy seeing others suffer. This masochism and sadism applies to all of us to various degrees. And we don't even know that. It is rooting from pain body, from deep unconscious. So why many techniques have failed? It is because of this. What we think and what we are, it is many times contradictory. We are told to love others. We are told to love others. But where is that love? Even though we try to, but something deep inside us withhold us from actually sharing our love. Until we realize, until we see how we are in so much grip, how much we are overwhelmed by pain body inside us, we cannot come out of it. The first thing that we need is realization that I have been doing much harm to myself, that I have tried many things, but I haven't found the solution, the key I was looking for. Someone has asked, what is K? Oh, I will clarify. Psych K was developed by NLP trainer. It's like some NLP plus energy center and a bit more. Yeah, Psych K is psychological kinesiology. K is kinesiology because in Psych K we do muscle testing to check your body's response to a certain question. And very interesting that this word has come up, Psych K, kinesiology. When I started my practice as a emotional wellness coach in 2013, I would check with people. I would muscle test them in on their, using their deltoid muscle. For example, if I check with Adrian, my name is Adrian, it would say strong. And if I check with Adrian, my name is Benjamin, it would go weak. The body respond to a first question which is not true, the reflexes will go weak. So I would often check with people, including myself. I love myself, and it would go weak. On the other hand, if I check with them, I hate myself, and it comes strong. We think we love ourselves, but deep down we hate ourselves. And that is confirmed through muscle testing. And what we can do to change it from self-hatred to self-love. Well, I think this this line of that most of us don't love themselves. This may have put many of you in a kind of questioning yourself. Is it
And guys, for all the coaches in there, I strongly suggest developing some kind of muscle test. You can self-test yourself, but essentially truth is strong. Truth is strong. And you can see this with kids. You get kids to say the truth about something and jump as high as they can. And then you have them tell a lie and jump. You can see it. I'm a bit more of a fan of the pendulum myself than muscle testing. And I use this kind of regularly just to ask myself nice, simple questions.
when you feel your emotions, you're bound to incline spiritually and spontaneously, whether you want it or not. Why? As I spoke a few times, we are overwhelmed by emotions, by unconscious mind. Hence, we are almost close to the universal life force. Instead of heart math, Adrian, can you please write it? Heart Math Institute. Yeah, good. Yeah, so this is an institute in America who have been doing research on the power of heart since 5 decades. And their studies reveal that our physical heart is more than just a pumping station. The physical heart is not just an organ which supplies blood, it is more than that. Heart math says that 40% of neurons, 40% of structure of the heart is similar like the brain. They have neurons and supporting tissue, which make it a brain independent of this main brain. That means heart has its own consciousness. And the field, electromagnetic field around the heart is 5,000 times stronger than the field of brain. So where is the power of heart? Why is it not functional in everybody's life? Because this little tiny heart is surrounded by fear. It doesn't get an opportunity to express itself in an easy and open way. So when I say emotional wellness leads to spiritual inclination, that means when you feel your emotions, negative emotions, you create more space inside you. And as you feel more and more of negativity, your low self-esteem, your anxiety, your depression, you're actually emptying your system of all the baggage that you have been carrying since childhood. When you empty the baggage out of you, you're actually opening the door for your heart to function. When the heart is not overwhelmed by fear, its natural potential is unlocked. And what is that? What is the natural potential of heart? It is more presence. It is more coming into moment. It takes time. It takes time when you feel yourself to a level of threshold, when you feel yourself sufficiently, then you start seeing the spiritual side of you. And then over time, it's 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 inevitable over time that you start living like Christ, or maybe you get glimpses of Christ consciousness or Buddha consciousness. We'll see how emotional wellness is linked with spirituality. And if you follow this path, just healing yourself, just understanding your own emotions and working on them, you open up yourself to a different world of love and majesty. It's a journey, it takes time. It's bound to happen.
If I can just briefly share, Preet, this heart mass and the heart thing is massive. There's a couple of devices. One's like this that can just plug onto your ear, and through Bluetooth, it measures your heart rate variability. And there's another device more like this, which you can go onto your finger or onto your ear. And it's got its own lights that go, or you can plug it into the computer. And what this measures is your heart rate variability, which is the gaps between heartbeats. So it's not how many beats per second, it's the gap between each heartbeat. So when you're feeling love, it has a particular rhythm to it. When you're feeling angry, the rhythm is more like, or for anyone that does like dancing, you know, anger is more like a staccato kind of thing, where love is a smooth flowing thing. So the HRV in these devices, and there are some other devices now that have it, but not as well. By using these devices, you can measure how well you can get into a flow. And when I was first using them, I was getting into a flow, and there's like a graph which shows you how high the flow is. And when I was first using it, I remember I was struggling to get up to level 1. Then after a while, I was getting up to level 2 and 3. I gave one of these to a client in Shanghai, and a few months later, I visited him, and he showed me how he was struggling to get up to level 10. I went, what the? I'm getting level 1 and 2, and now my client's like at level 9, struggling to get level 10. What's going on? And I realized I was doing most of my coaching from the headspace, and my heart was still closed from Afghanistan, you know, relationships, whatever. But now I can put it on and easily, you know, it shoots up pretty quick. So really great devices to connect in. And when Preet was talking about like the pain body or the conscious collective, on the heart mass, you can see that they actually have devices to measure the electromagnetic frequency around the planet. And what they were able to measure is the day-to-day electromagnetic frequency of the general population of the world, or around where their antennas are. After September 11, all their EMF stuff went right up high after September 11. Yeah. Not just after, but hours after. And I think it was hours after and hours after, for like the next 24-hour period, it went up and up and up as people woke up seeing September 11 all around the world. So that was picked up by the heart mass EMF antennas that they had positioned around the world. So this conscious, unconscious collective pain body is incredibly real, proven by science. all kinds of technology, but it's really under the radar. Thanks for bringing it up, Preet. Boom! You made it here! Good on you. Make sure you click the subscribe button below and check out the playlist at the end. If you'd like to come along to our Sunday sessions where we host a live, free Q&A for our students and members, you're welcome. I'll see you there.